Sleep is the most powerful productivity drug in the world. A full night's sleep restores your energy levels, repairs your muscles, releases growth hormones, and allows your immune system to keep you healthy. Sleep is a carefully developed bodily process that's been developed over tens of thousands of years. When you deprive yourself of sleep, you're fighting against your DNA. Yet, according to the CDC, 1 in 3 adults don't get enough sleep. Sleep is probably the most important thing we do every single day, yet it's so often sacrificed for a night out or to stay up and get more work done. Come to think of it, the average person doesn't even have a great way of tracking the quality of their sleep. How much sleep is enough for you and your body? Waking up is the first thing we do every morning, but how do we really know if we got a good night's sleep? How we feel when we wake up isn't always an accurate read of what's going on under the hood. To get a proper understanding of my sleep quality and physical well-being, I decided to put my money where my mouth is and spend $300 on an Oura ring. Don't let its fashionable looks fool you. This ingenious piece of tech hardware has advanced sensors on the inside of your finger that collects body signals such as heart rate, body temperature, daily activity level, sleep quality, and it even tracks every stage of your sleep cycle throughout the night. The ring software compiles all of this data throughout the night and generates your daily readiness score, a number from 0 to 100 telling you how recovered and ready your body is for the day ahead. After using it for over 6 months, I can confidently say that the ring helped me with so much more than just my sleep. It got me back to exercising regularly, taking long daily walks and bike rides to achieve my activity goals for the day, and prioritizing meditation again to help regulate my heart rate and curb anxious thoughts. All of these habits not only made the quality of my day-to-day life better, but they also led to higher quality sleep by a significant margin. The more activity I started to get throughout the day, the easier it was to fall asleep and the better my sleep was. The ring quickly became so much more than a sleep tracker. It became a constant reminder and log of my daily physical health. I could see where I was slipping up, whether it was not getting enough hours of sleep or spending too much time at the computer and not getting enough activity throughout the day. After 6 months of using this to track my sleep and honestly reshaping my life and daily habits completely, here's what I learned. This video is not sponsored by Oura Ring at all. I wish it was, but if you want to get one, I highly recommend you do since it's been the best purchase I've made in the past year. The first thing I learned was eating before bed is a major no-no. It not only made it harder for me to fall asleep, but it also totally tanked the quality of my sleep by keeping my heart rate elevated throughout the night and making me more restless all throughout the night. I'm a skinny guy by design and I've been successfully putting on some extra muscle mass these past few months, so eating a lot of calories for me is an essential part of my day. Often I'd end up eating right before bed to get all my calories in, but after a few weeks of noticing how detrimental it was to my sleep, I made it a point to stop eating at least 2 to 3 hours before bed and noticed a significant increase in my quality of sleep. Number 2. Exercising via long walks, weightlifting, or boxing helps me fall asleep faster and get higher quality deep sleep later in the night. With everything closed due to the pandemic, my days are pretty similar. Honestly, feels like Groundhog Day every day. I work most of the day, take breaks to walk in between and get a workout in because there's literally nowhere else to go. And on days where I procrastinate exercise or simply stay inside all day to work, I noticed I'd have tons of trouble falling asleep because the whole day felt exactly the same. I felt like I hadn't accomplished anything and I had just stayed inside all day and all the hours, the whole day dragged into one. Staying inside all day, regardless of how much work gets done, is the easiest way to feel like you didn't have much of a day. Even a simple 20-minute walk outside in fresh air, regardless of the weather, is great for giving your body some extra movement and separating your days from your nights and making them feel more dynamic. Number 3, removing all screens, minus the Kindle for reading, helped me get to sleep way faster. Before I deleted all of my social media apps, I'd often stay up late scrolling or watching videos until I fell asleep. It wasn't until I decided to delete all of them that I realized if I just laid in bed and tried to sleep, I'd fall asleep much faster than if I was keeping my mind active with whatever I was watching or going on my phone. The exception to this rule being reading on my Kindle. Reading before bed helps relax me a ton, and the brightness level on the Kindle goes so low that it doesn't even feel like I'm reading on a screen. Speaking of which, I noticed that reading philosophy before bed helped relax me and sort of separate me from all of my problems going on in the material world and get better sleep. Number 4, learn to listen to your body and the ring. Perhaps the biggest benefit of the ring has been learning to qualitatively feel how well rested I am and get a good sense of how my body feels day to day. Being able to wake up and get a physical sense of my body and take inventory of how I feel and confirm it with the quantitative data from the ring helped me develop a good sensitivity for how my body feels at any moment. Nowadays, I can predict what my ring and readiness score will be solely based on qualitative feeling in the morning alone. With the constant distractions of modern life, it's easy to lose our ability to accurately sense how our body feels from moment to moment. This is a huge benefit for knowing when it's time to take a break and rest or step on the gas and push ourselves that little extra bit. If I notice that my sleep score is below a 75, I'll skip a heavy lifting session for the day and instead replace it with a long walk or some light cardio with my boxing bag. I've noticed that when I try to push through a bad night's sleep and exert myself during the day, it usually just leads me to needing more sleep and leads me to having lower quality sleep that next night as well. In fact, the Ring is so good at reading your body's signals that it alerted me something was wrong a whole day before I came down with a cold. Which brings me to my next point. Number 5, cold is king. Sleeping with the temperature set at 65 degrees made it easier to fall asleep and made the quality of sleep significantly higher for me. If it's any hotter than that, I toss and turn a lot and I have tons of trouble falling asleep. Not to mention, I wake up a bunch throughout the night because I end up getting sweaty and uncomfortable. Besides the physical comfort of being able to huddle under the covers with a nice cooler temperature outside, there's a biological phenomenon going on that's actually more important. A drop in temperature acts as a signal to your body to produce melatonin and start preparing you for sleep. To help get my body in flow, I usually drop the thermostat down to 65 a few hours before bed so that my body can start to cool down and produce melatonin so that by the time I get to bed, I have an easier time sleeping. It's honestly really hard to overstate how beneficial this Ring and whole experiment has been to me and my life. Constant reminders and the gamification of sleep, activity, and readiness has been a great motivator for me to start prioritizing these things in my life. I feel healthier than ever, I'm more active than I have been in years, and I wake up every single day feeling refreshed and well rested. Now, I know not everybody can afford a fancy $300 ring, but hopefully you can apply some of these learnings that I shared with you from my experiment and use it as motivation to start taking back control of your physical health and sleep. Simply waking up and sleeping at the same time is the best place to start, along with a 5 to 10 minute daily meditation in the morning to sort of get a sense for how your body is feeling and if you could benefit from sleeping an extra hour or two. Those two things alone have been hugely beneficial for the quality of my sleep and the quality of my life, honestly. So I hope you can try those out and let me know how they go for you. That's it for today's video and this sort of long experiment. If you want to learn more about the experiments I'm doing and learning along with me, I highly recommend you follow me on Instagram at Benjamin Seda. I sort of talk about these things in my stories and my posts as I go on, and I also mention a lot of these things and stuff I'm using, what I'm learning, the habits I'm experimenting with, the products I'm using, sort of what I'm doing in my day-to-day life in my weekly newsletter, Favorite Finds Friday, where I share all of my favorite finds of the week. All you guys love that newsletter, and it's a ton of fun for me to write, and it's a ton of fun to bring you guys behind the scenes to sort of learn along with me. So if you guys want to check those out, I highly recommend you do. They're in the description below, and yeah, that's it. I'll see you guys in the next video. Later.